Hello and welcome to another episode. Today I want to get a little bit technical and talk about how I do captioning for my videos. One of the hazards of doing a technical video is that it is likely the software or websites that I use will change. In fact, if I had done this video a few months ago, several steps on YouTube would have been different. With that in mind, I will go over what works for me currently and hope that this remains useful for a while. To give you a little overview of how this video will work, I'm using my teleprompter for my text and speech for the first part of the video. After this introductory section, I will move over to the computer and live capture my thoughts as I show you the captioning steps, while using the introductory section as my template. I'll go back over the full final video to complete the captioning of the rest of it later. Let's go ahead and move over to the computer and start the live captioning. All right, so what I'm going to do now is open the programs that I use to edit the video. First thing I need to do is edit the video that I want to caption. And once I have the edited video, I'll move on to captioning. So let me share the screen where I'll do the video editing. And what I always do in my video editing is I use OpenShot. I've mentioned that before. So I just need to go in, get the video file, pull that in, and I always have to edit these. There's always things at the beginning of the video, things like that, that need to be cut out where I'm pushing buttons or setting up equipment. So I'm just going to do a quick edit on this to get it ready for the captioning. I'm not going to show you all of the editing I do. So once I have the file edited the way I want it, I'm just going to go in. I'm going to make sure I save the project first. So I'll have that. I will use the same file that I'm starting right now later to finalize the full video that I'm going to be using, but I'm just doing this one portion currently so you can see how the captioning process is going to work. All right, so I've saved the project. Now I need to export the project, and that's going to be the video I'm going to export. Just always keep the same name here. And I usually just use medium quality for this since it's just going on YouTube. I can go ahead and export that. And then once this export is done, I'll be ready to take the file and move it over to YouTube for the captioning processes. All right, my file is done, so I can go ahead and close this window, and I'm going to stop sharing this screen because the next thing I need to do is I need to go over to YouTube. And so I get that ready here, just one moment. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen over where we'll be doing YouTube. And so once I am in YouTube, I need to go and create, which is going to be where I upload the video. So I'm just going to go through the steps of that really quick. Normally this would be the last thing I do. Obviously for this particular case, I'm going to be doing some more editing later on, so I'll end up replacing this file when I'm done. But we go in and we're going to pick the exported file, bring that into YouTube. This is a relatively short video. It's only a couple minutes, less than a minute, less than 2 minutes. So it should upload fairly quickly. Let's get all that. Usually I would go ahead and put a title here, but I'm going to be replacing this one, so I'm not going to worry about it. It'll be unlisted. And upload is complete. I'm waiting for it to process. This is where I'm going to be waiting. So I'm going to wait for YouTube to process the file and then process the captioning, because I'm going to need that captioning before I can move on to my next step. So depending on the time it takes YouTube, the file size, how busy YouTube is, it can be a relatively quick captioning, or it can take quite a while. So the processing is done. Um, we can check the video. It's visible now, even though it's at least still unlisted. And we can see that it's there, but there's no captioning yet. I would see the captioning option here. So what we're going to need to do is stop and come back and look at this again a little bit later to see when the captioning is ready. And then I will go through the next steps of how I process captioning for my videos. All right, so I've waited and given YouTube time to make the captions. So let's go ahead and look at that now. So going ahead and share the screen. So this is the YouTube screen, just going to the YouTube video in YouTube. And you'll see now that there is a closed caption button. So this has now automatically captioned via YouTube. And so what I want to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm going to show you there's two different ways that I could proceed with my captioning. I'm going to show you the one where I don't have a script first, and then I'll show you how I do it differently if I had a script. So since it's closed captioned, what I want to do is I go down below where there's three little dots, and I'm going to click on those three dots and say open transcript. And now over here in the right-hand side of my screen, I have the transcript of what the computer just captioned for me. And it's got the timestamps, everything. It may or may not be accurate depending on how well it heard what I was saying. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to copy and paste this. So what I need to do first is I need to get rid of these times. So I'm going to go to the little three dots and say toggle timestamps. And now I no longer have those times. Because what I want to do is get this in a form where I can work just in text. So I'm just going to go in and I'm actually just going to highlight the text. There's not much here since it's a short video. And then I'm just going to copy that to my computer. I use the Control-C, and now that's copied into my computer. So I would then, I'm going to stop sharing so I can show you what I'm going to do with that. So I would then go into Word. So give me a moment to open a new Word. And then I can share it with you. Okay, so let me go ahead and do the sharing first. So I'm going to go into Word. I'm going to open a blank document. And within that blank document, I'm just going to paste the text that I put in. All right. So here is the text. But you can see it has all these little short line breaks, and that is going to cause us problems. So what I want to do is I'm going to actually get rid of that, and it's actually fairly fast. The reason I'm doing this in Word instead of WordPad is this what I'm going to do right now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and replace, and what I'm going to actually be replacing is the paragraph mark between each, and I'm just going to replace that with a space. I'm going to say replace all, and now what I'm going to be left with is just the straight text. So I don't have those paragraph marks that I have to deal with. Now this text, as you can see, it has no punctuation, it has no capitalization. All of those are things that I'm going to need to fix. Now, one of the nice things I can do here is I already know that all these little I's in here need to be replaced with capital I's. So to save me some time later, I just go in and do another search and replace, where actually I have that backwards. I'm going to take all the little I's and replace them with capital I's making sure I get rid of that extra space I had earlier. I'm going to make sure I find whole words only, and I'm just going to do a quick replace all and close. And now all my I's are capitalized. So that's just one little thing that's a fast way of fixing that part. And then the rest of this, what I would do is I would go in and just physically edit it. So depending on how long the video is, it can take a little while. But I can go, just go in and add the punctuation, add the capitalization at the beginning of sentences, and so on. So I'm not going to do this whole video, this whole one for you. But what I would do is I just get this completely done, and then I would save it as, and I need to save it. I'm just going to go ahead and save it in the video area where I keep all the other files for this project. And I'm going to just call this, it's for the day we're working on. Whoops. And I need to save this as plain text. Okay, so I'm going to go in and save it as plain text. And it's going to ask me if I just keep the defaults on this, because that's the version of it that I would need for the next step. I need a plain text version. So here is where things would actually be the same, whether I take a transcript like this one where I need to go in and edit it. The other thing I can do is I can actually work from a transcript that's already written if I'm using the teleprompter to do that ahead of time. So I'm going to stop sharing this for a moment, and I'm going to switch over, and I'm going to share with you the transcript that I used for my captioning, or not for my captioning, for my video prompter. Okay, so here you can see, here is the WordPad file. In this WordPad file, I have exactly what I said using the teleprompter, and that is the wording that should be in the download that we just did from the captioning, if it captioned it correctly. So what I have here is I have two different plain text files, and I can use, in this case, either of them. The one that I started with, which should be verbatim for what I said if I followed that as I was reading, or the one that I took, which was auto-captioned, and then I have to hand edit. So if I do a freeform video where I am just talking, so I start out the video, I talk, I say whatever I'm going to say about the video, and then I do the auto-captioning, I have to go in and hand edit every part of that, and then put it back into YouTube with the hand curated version. But if I do a teleprompted video where I followed the teleprompter the whole time, all I have to do is just go in and take that teleprompter file and upload it to YouTube and let it put in the timing. So it's really, really fast if I'm doing it from the teleprompter. I don't have to wait, I don't have to download, I don't have to edit and then put it back in. It's actually ready to go the moment that I start. So let me show you how I'm going to put that back into YouTube. All right, so I'm going to go back to sharing the screen where we have YouTube. And I don't need to be in the video version of this file anymore. I actually need to be back in the editor version. So we go back over to where the file is and where we can edit it. Within editing, there is a subtitles button over here on the left menu, and it's going to have subtitles. Now, it's not actually showing the auto edit created one right now, which it usually would, but we're going to go in and we're just going to say add, because I actually have a file. In either case, I have a file. But usually it'll already have the previous one in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a file. It does not have timing because I'm just uploading the straight text file. I continue, and it's going to ask me to find that file. And so what I need to do is go in this case, I have not moved that other captioning file over, so I need to go find it, and I know where it is. and it uploads that text. And then what it's going to do is if I click the assign timing button, it's going to assign timing to that text. That should match basically what happened. And we can test that if we want. If we go back over here and say play. All right, so we can see that that captioning has been timed to match what's already in there. And then I just need to go back up to the top here and say publish. And now I'm going to have two versions. Actually, the automatic is showing now, and the published version is showing. I usually go in when I'm finished with everything and just delete the automatic version because I don't want there to be any mix up between which is the correct captioning. And so I could go ahead now, because I've already published this other one, I could just go in and delete the auto caption. I've got it saved if I needed it because I already copied it. And in this particular case, I already had caption file that I was going to upload anyway, so it didn't matter. But if I delete that, it's just going to give one option for captioning when someone wants to watch the video. And we can just go all the way back to the content. If we hit the play now, it's going to have the captioning. Turn that captioning on. And you can see this is the version with my edits, or in this case, coming from the teleprompter, it already had all the punctuation and capitalization. And so we know we have the correct version in now. So this is what, when I would publish the file, everyone would see it. All right. So obviously this process takes a lot longer when the file is big, because you have to wait longer for the auto caption, and then there's more to edit, which is why if you know what you're planning to say, using a teleprompter and preparing the file ahead of time is going to be faster, because that teleprompted file already has punctuation, everything in it the way you want. The computer's not going to mishear a word that you have to go back and fix. So working from a teleprompter streamlines this quite a bit. If you're not working from the teleprompter and you're just talking to the camera, then you're going to need to do those edits when you're done. But either way, you can put in the corrected file at the end using the method that I just showed you. So I hope this is useful to you, and that you can use it in making your own videos and getting a good captioned file that's easy to read and correct, especially if you're using making a video with lots of scientific terminology or other terminology in it. This works well for me, and I hope that it works for you in whatever needs you have for captioning of your video files. All right, so that's everything I have for you this week. I hope everybody is doing well. Everybody, this is the holiday season, so I hope everybody gets a chance to take a break and enjoy the holidays and maybe relax a little bit and get ready for a new year. And I do not expect to post any more videos until after the spring semester begins, which for us is in early January. All right, so have a great day, week, month, and end of 2020, and I will see you soon. Thank you for watching.